So I have a question, Ted. I drive by your work a lot during my days, during work time. And there's that karate place right beside your work.
Is it karate or is it kung fu?
Martial arts. Let's say martial arts so we can cover the whole banner.
Okay.
So if I stopped, got out of my vehicle, and challenged any one of those people to a martial arts fight, they'd have to accept, right?
I mean, I think if we're talking like Cobra Kai rules, then yeah.
Like it's like if I say, "Are you a cop?" You have to answer honestly. That's the same rules, is it not?
Yeah, you're probably right. That's probably how it works.
Guys, what do you think on this?
I think you need to make sure that you have a glove in your back pocket. You have to pull it out of your pocket, smack the child across the face, and say, "I challenge you to a duel, sir."
Oh, man. We're muting you.
Yeah, I don't know if I can don't smacking.
We're muting you. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the PP1 podcast. We have a different look this evening. It's a little different than you're used to. There's still 4 squares. It's like that show, Foursquare.
That kids show, 4 Squares?
Foursquare, Brady Bunch. No, that's not
the schoolyard game, 4 Squares?
No, what's the one with the one in the center?
You're thinking Hollywood Squares?
Hollywood Squares.
Oh,
It's
yeah, Hollywood Squares.
Oh.
like that. Except if I look up, there's no one there. So
Also more squares than 4.
that's also true. That's
If I look up, it's usually because I can hear my kids running around upstairs like elephants.
Do you have elephants at your house?
I do, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's scientifically proven.
Hey, so back to us. Welcome to the PP1 podcast, part of the Dean Blundell Network. And I'm joined first and foremost by my buddy to my screen right, Ted. Hey, you're wearing a hat also.
Yeah, it's Hat Day today.
Hat Day.
It's International Kelowna Podcasters Hat Day.
Okay, I can accept that.
Yeah.
And we got 2 schmoes below us on the screen. Chris, who we talked behind his back, but he could hear every word, which is super awkward. Chris Phillips of the Ball Hawks podcast, also the guy who lost to me 2 out of 3 events 2 weeks ago, shamelessly in front of his whole family. I'm surprised he even came home after that. I would have slept on the street for a while. So, how's it going, Chris?
You don't know whether or not I did or didn't sleep on the street. My wife actually changed the lock. She wouldn't let me back in the house. My mom hasn't answered my phone call since. It's been a pretty sad day in the Phillips household since losing to Ryan.
Your whole family was socially distanced. It was fair. We were playing by the rules, but that is right. Your whole family saw you lose in shame.
Yeah.
Steve, good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
You.
Steve,
come on. You're so
Paul.
nice to Steve. You take the piss out of me and you're like, "Hey Steve, good to see you, pal." Come on.
It's been so much fun watching this these shenanigans back and forth between the two of you guys. It's like old times, I swear. It's great. I love it.
You know what? You treat your friends the worst, right? Isn't that how it goes?
I think that's how they do it, yeah.
Something like that. I'm sure you've got plenty on me, so don't worry about it. Steve, also welcome to our show. You are here.
Yeah, Chris, it's because not only did he see me running way faster than him, so he doesn't really have any trash to talk to me, but the last time I was on this, because I am one of the few recurring guests on this show, boom, they really let me have it. So
actually, we only allowed you to come on because your microphone takes up half of your screen, so we figured we wouldn't have to look at you for the entire time. So guys, you guys launched some interesting news recently. But before you do, we're going to ruin the surprise. Welcome. Welcome, Ball Hawks podcast to the Dean Blood. We don't have any balloons or anything.
Look at that graphics department on the PP1 podcast.
That's all you get. This is our show. That's all you get.
We're not. You gotta go old school Beavis and Butthead. These special effects aren't very special.
They are special. I'm the one that clicks it. You know how hard that is to do? Steve wins best background with Quinn's jersey. You know what?
I know how hard it is to click it, Ryan. Absolutely.
You don't know. You have no clue. You have no clue. So, boys, fill us in. You've had this football podcast people have been talking about. and you're it's done pretty well. You've had a really cool guest. You've had actually a couple cool guests recently. But yeah, you guys are hooked up on the network with us. Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I guess we have you guys to thank as our main peeps here for hooking us up. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. We had our meeting with Dean last Friday, and I think we were talking to him, and I said, yeah, we're pretty new into this, just 3 months. And Chris stops me. He's like, actually, it's only been 2. I was like, right, it has only been 2. So
you got an analytics department already. That's awesome.
Yeah, he can count. I can't.
Great job. I mean, you failed English, but math seems to be your strong point, Chris.
Apparently numbers I can handle, words not so much. I don't know why I'm doing a podcast, but
you know what? That's great. And the fact you could type your name on the screen there with your Twitter handle is really impressive.
Hunt and peck.
Honesty is the best policy. That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming by, guys. We're going to talk hockey today, amongst other things. So
that's so funny. Actually, I was talking to one of my buddies at work, and he was telling me that his girlfriend, and I won't name names, obviously, but she would hunt and peck, and then whenever she had to throw down like a capital, she would quickly hit caps lock on.
Oh no!
Capital, caps lock off, next letter.
Oh,
and he was just like, "Oh my god, please don't ever type in front of my friends."
That's nauseating. Oh my goodness. We're also presented partners with our buddies Summer Skates. Make sure you enter our little dealio, the 3-for-1 promo deal with Summer Skates. Ted, I think you just had a neat little post recently. Kind of, was it Eichel and McDavid? Mm-hmm. What colors are they going to be wearing next season? I guess. Quick question, boys. Maybe we'll get, actually, Ted, you can answer first. Who do you think McDavid and Eichels are going to have for Summer Skates next?
I mean, is McDavid really going anywhere?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, even if the Penguins sucked, I mean, Sid wasn't going to go anywhere in the early stages, right? But Eichel, I think is going to move. And I think that out of all the teams that are out there that probably have enough ammunition to make a move like that, I feel like it's Detroit, man. I feel like he could go, he could find his way across from Windsor.
It's not that far either. Yeah. Okay. Chris, what do you got? Let's assume Connor McDavid stays.
Yeah, Connor McDavid's not going anywhere. He's stuck to the anchor that is the Edmonton Oilers. Eichel, is he a free agent, or is this a trade scenario?
He's just signed a decent contract, actually.
Okay, so it is a trade scenario. I agree with Ted. He's going to Detroit. I actually tweeted at Ted, Eichel and Pettersson on the same line next year down in Detroit is going to be fire. So look out for Detroit to offer sheet Pettersson, which I'm sorry to upset everybody in Canucks Nation with that news, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happen either. But yeah, I'm seeing Eichel with the red wing on his jersey next year.
Isn't that insane to think that they actually have enough ammunition that they could make a trade for an Eichel, knowing that they're going to have to give something back to get him aside from just picks? So what's Buffalo saying? Something like the equivalent of 3 first-round draft picks, whether it be players or assets or actual picks. But they could do that and then have enough to still offer sheet Pettersson, which is like bonkers to me.
That frightens me, actually. Just now grasping all that frightens me. Could you imagine having both of those guys? Both of them in Detroit.
I think if you're going to do that, you go all in to grab both of them, though, right? Like,
yeah.
What's the point of grabbing an Eichel and then having the same issues you're faced with in Buffalo with no supporting cast over in Detroit? Like,
yeah,
you go get 2 superstars and change the trajectory of your franchise forever.
Yeah, it worked for the Raptors.
Yeah.
So who's the Kawhi at that point?
Well, I think even getting one of those guys makes a big difference. But yeah, I mean somehow if you could do it both, then crazy shit's going to happen.
That would be absolutely crazy. I mean,
they're going to have to give up going back the other way. Like they have a lot of draft capital. They probably have enough draft capital to get 1 or 2 of them. But if they want both of them, there's got to be players going back there. You think like.
Yeah, but you sell the farm. If you have 2 of those guys, you can figure it out after that. There's enough firepower in both of those players. I'm pretty sure they can make it work. It wouldn't be pretty, and I'm sure they're going to have to get super creative. But, I think of all seasons, this would be one where, he rolls the dice and thinks, hey, you know what? Why not? Like, really? Why not? Go for it.
If you can get those two players, let's say Eichel and Pettersson, I think Yzerman has proven he's willing to make moves. He is a very savvy GM. He's done a good. He's done a good job there. That they have enough cap space going into this off season that you're going to see him be very aggressive, and going forward, they're going to continue being very aggressive. And he knows what it takes to build a winner. So like you said, Ryan, it takes those two kind of cornerstone pieces. And who knows after that, right?
Well, you know what? It'll be fun. It'll give us something to talk about, considering that nothing's really happened yet. Although Travis Green is officially a Canuck again. Ted, we kind of went back and forth on this last week. I was still kind of bullish that maybe this wasn't going to happen, but like there's been a lot of doubt the last couple of weeks. I think there's been a lot of rumors out there. At the same time, there's been a lot of reason to maybe, jump ship realistically and start somewhere where they actually appreciate you. But Greener signs on Friday or Thursday night, whatever. They have the press conference on Friday. Benning comes out, which was interesting because we haven't seen Jim Benning in absolutely forever. Did any of you guys see or listen to that press conference? Anyone? This is a Canucks podcast. Jeez Louise.
No.
I was out in the wilderness.
You were camping. You get a pass. That's fair.
I was also out in the wilderness. That is downtown Kelowna.
I got the Coles notes though.
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like they want to be able to bring everybody back as far as a coaching staff. The Weisbrod thing, there wasn't really a good explanation on exactly what he does.
I don't think anybody knows what he's done at any level in any organization.
He just kind of roams,
he's like assistant two. We'll take a word out of Schrute/Steve Fisher's mouth.
Do I get Schrute?
He gets paid in Schrute bucks, aka Bitcoin.
I mean, hey, I'd take some Bitcoin. That's probably pretty decent contract to get. So they're still out on the rest of the coaching staff, as well as Ian Clark, I think, is the main one that everybody wants to see re-signed. It sounds like term is the big deal there. Why would you not? I believe, is it not they want to match what basically Demko's tenure of his contract? Why would you not just match that? Like, you need to throw money at a situation where clearly you're going to benefit from. You just locked up the guy that, he's groomed for you. So why not marry that and have both of them? Like, why would you not want, an amazing goalie coach that's clearly producing eventual Vezina winners or Vezina candidates? Like, you have an opportunity to keep a guy for once instead of losing them to the free agent market. Why not? Like, what am I missing here?
I've just never understood in professional sports when we talk so much about salary cap, when we talk about like fitting guys under, in the umbrella, and then all of a sudden you have something that doesn't count against your cap. You can literally throw as much resources, money into it as you want to.
Oh, preach, brother.
Yeah, like, who cares? Like, the Aquilinis make so much money. They don't have to worry about, we're gonna go bankrupt here, so we better not do that. Just throw whatever he wants at it. Demko clearly wants this guy back. He's a proven coach. Give him whatever he wants. If it doesn't work out in the next however many years, you're just out money. Like,
exactly. Which you're throwing. I mean, you're throwing it. Really, you've been throwing it away for 7 years. So, like he has been. So why not just put it into a position of value at this point, right?
I am 100%. I mean, I could not have said it any better. I mean, with what Steve said, but you're essentially, there's a million things that you can spend money on, and you can only spend a certain amount. So they were all about doing this before, when it became to sleep doctors and things that were outside of the cap that were gonna that were going to help your organization, right? It's almost like you have a business and you have to pay your employees, but like, hey, you know what? I think like our customers, if I own a restaurant, are really going to like it if I have a really nice big view out front, or they have brand new nice tables, or like a cush new floor or something like that, right? Like it's you're paying out for something that's an investment in your business, and you're going to get a return on your investment because you know he's helping your employees at this point, right? Like it makes no, you know, you have like all your servers or something like that in your restaurant, they're writing on pen and pad, but you get them this awesome new point of sale system or something like that. Like it, you can spend whatever you want on it. It doesn't make a difference. So it doesn't make any sense to let them walk on something like this. Now, that being said, the only reason why I would think something would walk on this is because maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Benning, and I'm certain that it doesn't at this point. I think that it more has to do with the Aquilinis and their willingness to spend. We're talking about an organization that like literally laid off anybody that they didn't deem crucial, from social media guys like Derek Jory to Finn, where you look at teams like Tampa Bay, who kept everybody hired, like everybody on the payroll from top to bottom, and found a way to make it work.
There's a big story to that, Finn.
There's some penny pinching going on here, and if you're penny pinching on somebody that's going to help your future, like a goaltending coach, then it's stupidity, in my opinion. So I don't get that portion of it. The other flip side of something might be the fact that maybe Ian Clark doesn't want to stay. Maybe Ian Clark wants to go somewhere else. Maybe Ian Clark wants to find his next piece of clay, because he thinks that, you know, I don't know. As a coach, you're always kind of looking for the next piece of clay to mold, right? You're working for, especially like college coaches in football is probably a really good comparison for this. You're recruiting the next guys to turn into your, you know, to cement your legacy. And if he's already there and he's already established, maybe Demko doesn't need him anymore, and he feels like he's ready to move on. I mean, Bob's needed him, so I'm thinking Demko might, but that's probably the other half of it.
I think Bob needs him again.
And that's the thing. Like, I agree. I think it's definitely some penny pinching by the Aquilinis. Not only have they lost money this past, let's call it year and a half. It's not quite a year and a half, but it's easier math that way. Let's call it a year and a half. They've lost money not only with the Canucks and having no fans for this past year, but some of their other business ventures. I mean, they have restaurants, and I mean, we all know restaurants up until yesterday have been shut down for a very, very long time, especially for indoor dining. If you don't have the space to create a patio, you were basically up a creek when it came to your restaurant. So it's definitely a penny pinching maneuver by the Aquilinis. Do I think they should bring in Ian Clark back? Absolutely. I think he is the most important coach to bring back outside of Travis Green. And even then, I would almost rank him a little bit ahead of Travis Green. Like you guys both said, I mean, Bobrovsky down in Florida is certainly missing Ian Clark.
He's riding the fine.
Yeah, he's not the same goalie without having that goalie coach there. I mean, even Markstrom in Calgary this year didn't have I guess, you know, what we expect to be Jacob Markstrom's season. He didn't, you know, he wasn't the Vezina caliber goalie that we've seen in Vancouver the last 2 seasons, at least. So I think Ian Clark is definitely a guy that they need to bring back, but it is something that Aquilini is just, he's holding those purse strings a little too tight in this scenario.
Let me touch on that for a second here. I'm just going to share my screen. Don't show these tips again. Just to touch on the Aquilini thing. So here's the tweet. You guys can see that?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Well, our viewers hopefully can. Here we go. Entire screen. There we go. Share. I'm good at this. This is the audio. Here we go.
Hey,
wow, look at that.
Okay.
Bravo.
Okay, so you guys can see this, right? The Aquilini tweet. You're looking at my screen, yes?
Yep.
We're all on the screens. So if they're pinching pennies, why does he come out and basically say that as owners, we remain committed to providing Jim and his management team with the full resources they need to take the Canucks to the next level? Now, this is one of those things that I still, it lives rent-free in my head, is the Tyler Toffoli thing. Not only that, They wait till the very end of the season to sign Travis. They're still figuring things out with Ian Clark. There's definitely other. I mean, they go and they sign Tanner Pearson. They do Demko, which they didn't have to do mid-season, but they did. Like, Ted, you've said this numerous times with like the no plan, and yet they say they're going to be spending all this money and they're going to give them the full resources. Well, where were these full resources a calendar year ago when it actually mattered a lot more than it does this year? You didn't have to spend as much this year if you actually figured things out a year ago. And now they're basically trying to give us lip service, thinking, "Oh no, we're committed to making this team better." No, you're not, because this is the position we're in. You didn't speak up and said, "Hey, Jim, we're probably going to have to do some stuff next season." You were already in a pandemic and you made mistakes. Like, they were already in a position where money was tight, and yet they're still saying, "Well, we know we're going to get out of this, so now we're willing to spend money." Like, it doesn't work that way. You have a franchise. You either want to run it the same and make sure that you're going to have a team on the ice that is worth putting out there, or not. Like, it can't be one or the other. Like, "Oh, we'll figure it out as we go." It doesn't work that way. This is a professional sports team.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, though, Ryan.
We said that last week.
You said lip service.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what that letter is. It's lip service. It's, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to provide Jim with his full resources to do whatever he needs to do to build this team and do what he needs to do to retain coaches, retain players, and this and that. I mean, it's lip service. It's exactly that. They're not going to be doing that. They are going to be holding their purse strings tight. I mean, I guess as far as using their full resources to their advantage is, I believe Benning said in his press conference something along the lines about using his buyouts. I guess that would be the only thing I could think of that would relate to Aquilini allowing Jim to use his full resources to his advantage.
But you guys know, and I'm assuming you guys have been listening to the Speak lately, and Drance is kind of bringing up on their podcast, on the Vancast. But there's really only one player that they can buy out that actually makes sense. Everything else is, you send a guy to the minors, you're going to essentially have a better savings, because at the end of the day, you're going to save maybe a little less money by sending them to the minors. If you buy them out, then that cap hit at a lesser value carries over for another season. Like, why are we going backwards again?
That's why it's a lip service statement. Saying something like, "We have solutions and we're going to buy things out." Like, really, you can say the word buyout, and a good sized majority of the public that's going to read this address is going to be like, "Oh yeah, okay,
that sounds great.
We're going to do some buyouts." But I mean, you look a little deeper, and it's actually just that. It's a lip service statement, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything if you can't accomplish anything with what you're laying out as a solution. So then what's the point? And like, I look at the Aquilini letter, and like, I mean, do you guys see Aquilini's tweets when he sends them? Right.
Well, I like the ending part when he brought up the whole Batman thing.
Doesn't it feel like when I read, this is just me, so I won't speak for you guys, but when I read the Aquilini tweets, it feels like, are you watching? Like, do you see what's going on? Like, do you know your team? It always feels so disconnected. And when I'm reading this statement, it feels like one big long tweet of Aquilini being disconnected from his franchise and where it is. Like, great, I'm glad that you can name your 5 core players and some important pieces and talk about being better, but like, none of that means shit until you actually start doing it. And where you said the same thing in previous years and nothing has changed. We still keep going with the no plan year after year.
Now
the one thing,
nice letterhead on it though.
Yeah, the one thing with the Aquilini tweets is like, and this, I mean, this letter is another prime example. Is Aquilini tweets using keywords, right? What's going to catch people's attention? Injuries is a prime example, right? And that's the thing, is he took this letter. It's a long tweet, and his keyword is, give Jim the resources to do what he needs to do. And like I said, with his tweets, it's, it's these little keywords that people pick up on that, makes it seem like he's engaged, but he's not engaged with the market at all.
So
did you notice? Sorry, I just want one thing, and then you can go there, Steve. He sent this to the season ticket holders, which he stated, right? And then he posts this publicly on Twitter. Like, as a season ticket holder, do you not feel a little less special because like it instantly gets blasted over the entire internet? Like, oh, but I'm a season ticket holder. Isn't that supposed to be, a little bit more exclusive information? No, you all get it at 12 o'clock. Everybody.
Do you think he did that though because there's been so much talk on Twitter about people canceling their season tickets, and so he's just like, maybe if I release this to the general public,
it's just funny.
All these people that are canceled are going to now, maybe now someone else will be like, well, if he's going to be doing this, like maybe I'll pick up that guy that canceled or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's just
I never thought about it like that.
I just find that's a good point. I think it's just funny that, something, if this was 15, 20 years ago, when Twitter didn't exist and you'd get that in the mail, like, okay, well, this is the direction the team's going, straight from the owner, and you're telling people about it, but it's a little bit more personal. Now it's just like, it's something I can pull up on the internet in 10 seconds. Sorry, Steve, I totally cut you off.
It's okay. The problem I have with the letter is it goes back to a word Ted used. It's delusional. Like, I don't necessarily know if you can definitely tell there's a healthy amount of lip service in there. But if you look at it carefully, there's also a lot of truth in there. He has spared no expense in terms of putting a ton of dollars into the team because we are what are we in the top 10 every single year
we're right near the cap every year.
We just don't allocate the funds to the proper spot. So he can look at that and say like, well, like you can call me a lot of things. You just can't call me a liar. I mean, I'm shelling for Jim Benning and it's kind of on him. And then the other part in there was like, success doesn't always follow a straight line. Trust me. Like, oh, okay, you're a successful business owner. So I've got to have some like trust in what you do because you're successful. But it's all just so unbelievably delusional. Like Ted said, do you not see what's going on over here? Like, it's been 7 years and we're in a worse spot than when you first started potentially, bud.
Yeah, it's disconnected. It's delusional and it's disingenuous. Like there's all of these sort of words that you can use. And when you say things like we're committed to giving Jim all of the resources that Jim needs to build this team, well, doesn't that just allow Aquilini to wash his hands if he eventually wants to and scope blame to somebody else if he needs to? I mean, that could have been done this season. This team will not win or be successful with Jim Benning at the helm.
No.
And Aquilini might be part of that problem too. But if he's going to allow, like he's saying, the only reason I say that it might not be is because there was success here with Aquilini under Mike Gillis, allowing him to allocate funds to the right places, making those important trades, making great washer decisions, having solid pro scouting, all of those things, right? So I do believe that he will spend money and allocate it properly sometimes, only because I know what the history suggests. I don't know if that history lines up with what's happening right now. So it's like the fans themselves don't really know what's going on. But like, going back to that letter, one last thing that I sort of want to pick on about that letter is all this like pawning off on COVID. Like, give me a break.
Like it's the full excuse.
Everybody, it was a really tough year this year with the.
What about the year before?
With the salary cap, because we're the only team that has to deal with the salary cap, and that's challenging. Like everybody has to deal with COVID. Everybody. That's not it's an even playing field across the board, and COVID, whatever it is shitty. Don't get me wrong, but it has nothing to do as an excuse for your organization compared to the other 31 teams in this league.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I asked for some questions, and I got some very interesting ones. I'm sure you guys saw this right before you came on the show. If you're on Twitter. Average Joe, he's here every week. I like Average Joe.
Great guy.
This is disgusting, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is going on over there, Chris?
Like for
little puppy over there. He's like, look at me.
I'm just happy to be here.
We love you, buddy. You know that. Mustard on watermelon, yes or no? I don't even know.
Are you kidding me? That's what?
So apparently. This stems from, I believe, was it Faber said he was going to have mustard on watermelon.
I saw Faber tweet something about having mustard on watermelon.
Like he was going to try it as a dare, or
I think just
what
as
two crazy food combinations can I put together?
I guess. I don't know. So I think, are we all in agreement that, like, what is he even talking
No,
about?
I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if it's bad or not.
I would try it.
Yeah. I'll try
I mean,
anything once.
So okay, tell me on why it might be good. Tell me on why it might be good.
It's got the classic sweet and salty mix.
Sweet and savory, yeah.
As far as mustard goes, it turns out that all mustard is actually really good, except for regular yellow hot dog mustard.
I would use regular yellow hot dog mustard. Suck it, Ted.
We chatted about this at the down at
And-
CNC
And whatever that tube of mustard you had, Steve, was phenomenal. What was that?
Didn't offer it to me.
Tom's mustard.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
Didn't
Yeah,
offer
so
it to me.
I would try it. It's got that what is mustard made out of? It's a mustard seed, and it almost has that like
It is out of mustard seed. You're bang on there. That's where the name comes from, idiot.
it almost has like that horseradish burn to it a little bit, but way less intense. So it might taste good with the super sweet watermelon. I'd try it. Peanut butter and dill pickle tastes awesome. So
Yeah. See, I can, and that's okay. So that's fair. That sounds as weird as mustard on watermelon, pickle, and peanut butter. I
Never
could
tried
be doing
that.
that.
I've never tried that.
oh, you guys, it's
It doesn't
amazing.
sound like something that is appealing, but like you said, why not try it and make your decision from there?
Yeah.
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well.
It
So
did turn out that
It was just the that were a little too much for the middle
Yeah,
school
I
girl.
think you read the room wrong, Ryan. Sarah Ayers, she didn't have a question, but I asked for golf tips as well. If you talk during your spouse's swing, expect the rest of your round to be shit. So I feel like there's a backstory there. A very, very unfortunate backstory. I don't even want to know. I mean, you do it. You kind of chatter, if you're with your buddies. We have respect, right? When you're in a guy's backswing, you maybe whisper and you can talk, but like, I mean, it depends on the course too. I mean, if
it
you're
also depends on who you're golfing with.
That's true. That's true. I've only golfed with my wife once, and I didn't know how she golfed, so it was probably best that I didn't talk in her swing, because Sarah's probably right. It probably could end absolutely horribly. So, you guys agree on this?
I went to the driving range a couple weeks ago, and I was listening to a podcast while I was at the driving range. I don't recommend it.
You can't concentrate. You can't do either or, right?
Yeah,
It's too much, like thinking.
Yeah,
Committed to but we love Sarah. I mean, her and David. I mean, I would imagine those two have some pretty serious competition going on in just about everything that they do.
Well, remember, was it last year? We had the push-ups and all that, the challenge, and like they're hardcore gym rats, right?
Which, I mean, to be fair, if I was competing with my spouse, like when I go golfing with my wife, like we don't even keep score. We just go, we hit the ball, we have fun, we have a couple drinks, we drive the golf cart around. Like that's all it really is when I go golfing with my wife. Actually, that's really all it is when I go golfing, period. It's just an excuse to drink more beer. But I mean, if you're competing with your spouse, hell yeah, I'm gonna fuck with my wife. Like I'm gonna she's in her backswing. I'm like, hey, watch out! Like, yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely gonna fuck with her.
So you have no respect for the backswing, basically.
No, not if it's a competition. Absolutely not.
Well, it's always a competition in golf. I mean, you're not going out there to hit a ball. Like, you do want to do well.
I literally just said I'm going out there to just hit the ball.
Steve might have the most competitive wife out of the lot of us, though.
I mean, she shot a bear before he did.
Yeah, shot a bear.
Ooh.
Hit a baseball further than me. Throws a dodgeball harder than me.
Oh, it's so intimidating.
Look, I'm semi with Chris, but only for the reason that I've got to try and level the playing field so it's a close competition, or else she's just going to wipe the floor with me, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, she's a better athlete than anybody on this pod.
That's fair. That's also fair. Now, this is a question I have for you guys. This has nothing to do with the questions on Twitter. Ted, I brought this up to you last week. Our buddy Dan Reese had a very funny Facebook post.
I remember Dan.
Remember Dan?
Yeah.
Animal?
Saskatchewan Dan.
Exactly.
Dan, yeah.
So I'll have to send you guys the picture here. I'll have to find it, but I'll ask the question. Do you judge other urinal goers if you can't hear them going? Like, you go in there, you had a hockey game or a football game, and I mean, it's the long line, right? And sometimes you get a little stage fright, or you don't have enough to go because it's tough, and when you're just relaxed, you're good to go all the time. But when it's in like a high intense situation, when there's lots of people, some people get a little bit worried, right? Do you judge those people? Are you a judger?
Like, if you're waiting in line?
No, like you've all got to your stand, your urinal.
Okay, so I'm next to you, say, in the urinal.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't hear anything.
You don't, and I've been there for a bit.
Yeah, I question it for a bit. I mean, it's run through my head that, like, why are you in the lineup to begin with? Those lineups are not short, one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I have to piss and I'm on my way to the toilet, it's like I'm going to the toilet, but the pee has decided that it's time now. And you're doing or you're doing the pee dance to just hurry up and go. So I can't imagine that I wouldn't go.
But then you get there and you can't go, is what I'm saying.
But I just don't know. I don't understand that. That's a little bit lost on me. So I might be a little bit curious as to, like, hey, bro, if you're not going to go, like, there's lots of people that do need to go. That seems kind of rude.
Steve knows all about my PP dance. He's seen it many a times on the Ball Hawks podcast. And there's been a couple times where I'm just like, Steve, stop. I gotta go. I gotta take time out. Chris has to go pee.
With our guests, he messaged me and said, I really have to pee. And I said, make it look like you're like going to like put your kids to bed or something like that.
Yeah. I'm like, hold the conversation here. I'm going pee, which is actually, it was really funny listening back to that episode. I'm like, I don't remember this conversation. I was like, oh, I was probably going pee at this point. But when I'm at the arena, the stadium, hockey, football, whatever, yeah. I'm all business. It's like, I'm just tunnel vision, get to my spot, do what I got to do, get out, get back to the game, like in and out. I don't care what anyone else is doing around me.
So you're focused. You don't care the playing. There's guys struggling in the corners there, and if like you're just like, I gotta pee. I don't care if you're struggling and you're having a rough time. You deal with your own mental crap over there.
Let him struggle. I gotta go. Like I said, I'm all business. I've got my man ears on. All I'm listening for is my own stream and and to get out of there.
Yeah. Plus, we're streaming live right now, so
we are. It's a live stream.
Yeah, just making sure the stream's not running down my pants.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I was at a concert in Vancouver one time, and there must have been, I assume, if they weren't friends, I feel really horrible for said non-peer goer at the urinal. But he just turned over, and I assume is his friend, and said, dude, if you're not going to go, there's tons of people that actually have to.
This is what I'm talking about. I'm with you.
That's the moment. That's the moment right there.
And then I was like, oh man, I really hope they know each other, because that's.
Oh,
I laugh a lot, but
I call bullshit. I think you're just creating a story for the show.
All content, baby.
I mean, either way, I'm good with it. So that's interesting.
I've come up with a much better story. Like he was like helping him try to like get it out, or
rubbing his back, holding his hand like good friends do.
Yeah. Pat him on the bum. Go make a pee-pee.
Just one little more. Yeah. Hey, let's go back to our seats now. Yeah. I probably need to lose that friend at that point. it went past the line I was willing to go. So
I've never even seen this guy in my life. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Doesn't happen. It's like a Michael Bublé diss track.
Yeah. Well, that might have happened though. That might have happened. Do you have some information on that, Ted?
Well, I mean, looks like Pedersen was hanging out with Bublé. So I guess, yeah, Michael Bublé, they're tight now.
How does that happen? How is that a pair? Like, he does his agents like, hey, you want to meet some really cool guys that are Canadian? Like, I know Michael Bublé. You want to hang out with him? And he's like, I guess so.
Canucks fan.
Yeah.
I mean, he must be. Maybe he's on like the committee or something like that.
Or maybe
I don't
they know each other. Maybe, I mean, Vancouver Giants owner. So maybe there's some kind of, maybe they're DMing each other. Who knows? Who knows?
Who slid into whose DMs?
Well, that's a good question. You know what? I'm going to say Bublé to Pedersen.
You think so?
I think so. Like
know. You're probably right.
It's the musician to athlete thing. Like it's usually like.
But if Bublé is already in LA and Petey's heading down there, I think maybe it's Petey that slid into Bublé's DMs and like, hey, I'm heading down there. I would love to record a diss track.
Same thing. Same argument goes the other way. Like, hey, I hear you're coming down to LA.
Yeah, I feel like the 30-something is not reaching out to the 20-something. I feel like it's,
that makes more sense.
I don't know.
One's more needy.
Yeah.
Either
way,
I am a 30-something that has reached out to a 20-something on Twitter trying to get.
Okay. Maybe it's that way then, right? So if you're reaching,
I'm telling your wife.
She's right here. Do you want to tell her?
Oh, she's funny.
My lovely wife just brought me more beers. Thank you, wife.
What a woman.
Oh, you don't call her by her name. That's a
okay. So the 20-something though is not reaching out to you.
No.
Okay. So maybe it is that. Maybe Bublé reached out to Petey.
I mean, the 20-something-year-old that I'm reaching out to is Taylor Lewan, trying to get him to come on my podcast to chug a beer because.
But you don't know him.
No, I don't know him. You're right.
We're assuming that Bublé and Pedersen know each other.
Well, they did that.
They would have been acquaintances for sure.
Well, no, they did that BC Children's Hospital thing in at Christmas time.
Oh, the Dyson Ice?
No, it wasn't Dyson Ice. They were like outside. I want to say the Ronald McDonald House, maybe.
Okay, so they've got a history.
Yeah, they were singing Christmas carols.
Okay, so that's why I'm going to stand. I think the musician reaches out to the athlete. That's my stance.
Or maybe Bublé extended the olive branch, being like, "Hey, if you're ever in LA, reach out, and I would bring you into the studio."
That's probably
right?
what happened. That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
It was at a previous event in a predetermined pre-time
arena.
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm saying. I failed English too. It was sometime before in a gathering where they made acquaintances, and he said, "Hey, if you're ever in LA, come see me.
Hit me up."
Case solved. We did it, guys.
Excellent. This has been another unsolved mystery, or Carmen Sandiego, or something like that.
Yeah.
So let's take a few minutes. We'll give you guys a little bit of promotional time. Your podcast is doing very well.
Shameless plug, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do it now instead of later because then we can bury it or edit it out or something. You guys have done pretty well. We've been listening to your show. You've had Ted on. I'm not knowledgeable enough to be on your show, so I'm not even like jealous. It's probably for the best that I'm not on your show anytime soon.
We had the race. The race was very successful. Yeah. Wildly successful.
That was great. And
that was Ryan's contribution to the Ball Hawks podcast, and we are very, very thankful for it, regardless of the outcome. And again, Ryan, I've put it out there a number of times. I'm putting it out there on this live show. Rematch next year. We're doing it again.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not moving, so absolutely. I can school you 2 years in a row for sure.
Yeah. And fuck the Rob Fay Ally Afraidy. Like I know exactly what he's talking about because he cut it out of the video, but when I take my shorts off and I bend down, I've got the old Al Afraidy happening here, guys. It happens to the best of us. I'm gonna go with that.
We're getting older.
It's
not going to happen. It's not going to happen to Ryan and Steve.
It will not happen to me anytime soon. Anytime. Not in my lifetime, most likely. As everybody's fully aware of that. But yeah, you guys have a really good show going on. You are now part of our network on the Dean Blundell Network. That's pretty awesome that you're able to, kind of rise up and get a little bit more coverage now. Do you guys have any plans? Is there anything that you can drop that you haven't already released to our listeners, to maybe new listeners? Is there something, or do you even want to tease something? Like what's on the horizon for you guys? Because obviously, is it mini camps that have started? Is that right?
OTAs, yeah.
OTAs, yeah.
See,
And
that's why you don't want me on your show.
Journalism at its finest right here, Ryan. I love this. This is like I want you guys to drop your first news on our show. I love the digging.
Hey, it's happened here.
Yeah.
We had Sarah Ayres drop that Disney was going to do their movie, so that happened here.
Also, it's pronounced OTAs, not OTAs.
Jeez, get out of here.
Yeah, lots of really cool things on the horizon. I don't think we're actually dropping our kind of big news. We did drop it to Dean on our interview. You got to impress the guy, and
Adam Vinatieri.
He was very impressed that we might be having. Let's just say here. I'll give you a little hint. We could potentially, maybe, we have a verbal commitment. From a 3-time former Pro Bowler,
Marshawn Lynch.
That's all I could give you.
You should get him. Get him.
Every answer from here on out, boys, is I can neither confirm or deny.
I'm just here.
Peyton Manning. He's got a show. That'd be interesting. So you guys, you've got some stuff cooking here that we're going to be hearing about. I mean, should we be excited? Is this a player first and foremost? Is it not an executive? It's a player.
I mean, it's a former Pro Bowl, former Pro Bowler, three-time Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler.
So
I'm assuming he has played for one of the two teams that you guys cheer for.
He played in the NFL.
There you go. How often do you guys podcast? Where can they find you guys on Twitter if it's not your two Twitter handle names that are sitting below? And what do you guys got going on for your next episode? What kind of stuff are you covering in the next little bit here?
Probably Oda, most likely.
We are a once a week NFL podcast. We started being a Seahawks Ravens podcast. Realized we were pigeonholing ourselves a little bit that way. So we're an NFL podcast. Yeah, we're still going to be biased towards the Seahawks and the Ravens, but we're talking about the league as a whole. We record once a week. Episodes drop every Tuesday, at least at this time. That could change in the future. Next episode, we are looking at actually doing a live stream of our own and rehashing the NFL schedule release and letting you guys know how we think our teams are going to do this year. How's the Seahawks going to fare? What's their win-loss record going to be? How are the Ravens going to fare? Again, their win-loss record. We have a friend of the show that is going to help out with the live stream, and he's going to help doing the W's and the L's and letting you guys all know what we think is going to happen this upcoming season.
Couldn't you just have somebody cut out some cardboard paper with W's and L's and just put it on a big board?
I could.
Like Post-it notes? That seems easier.
I got lots of these things. I'm a teacher, man.
Boys, how are mine and Ryan's team's going to do? He's a Chargers fan.
Well,
I'm a Browns fan.
I'm kind of all over the place.
No,
I think that's been
since when is Ryan a Chargers fan?
I was a Chargers fan. When I first became an NFL fan, LaDainian Tomlinson lured me in. He came in, he's like, hey, I'm pretty awesome. And then I was kind of a Titans fan for a while. Actually, I was a Titans fan, to be perfectly honest. I was a Titans fan long, long ago when they first came in the league. I attached myself to them. Then they made their run, and I almost cried when he got stopped at the 1 yard line. I just thought it wasn't fair that sports end that way. And you guys have known I had Titans gear up the yin yang pretty much from the starting point at Jersey City. But I did. Oh man, I got his rookie card. I actually had that given to me for my birthday one year from one of my coworkers. So
I was gonna say, I remember you as a CJ2K Tennessee Titans fan.
Yeah, but I came in in my adult life as a Chargers fan, and I back and forth with the Titans, which I wasn't really sure where my allegiances lied. I think fantasy football has absolutely ruined me, so I'm more of a player guy. So I just I gravitate to what's going on. But I mean, the Seahawks are local, so there's definitely a vested interest in that. But at the same time, I mean, I like where the action is. So if
this is hurting me. All this wishy-washiness that's happening right now. It's hurting me. Like
my one team
inside.
is the Canucks, and this is where I thrive. So,
but to be fair, being a fantasy football, like I'm just a player guy. That sounds way fucking easier than being a team guy. Like,
it is easy.
Like I'm a Seahawks fan. Like that comes with fucking pain every year.
But I don't have that same feeling. Like for me, I came into the NFL late, and I just didn't have like that draw to start where like I had that, that heart pain where like I live and die with the team. I don't have it. Unfortunately, I would love to. But
honestly, though, Ryan, I'm jealous. Like that sounds like you get to enjoy NFL Sundays. You get to watch your favorite players.
I just put on the game. I don't care who's playing. Yeah. Like if the Browns are on, I'm like, you know what? That's Ted's team, and I watch. I've probably got one guy. They're playing the Steelers. This is going to be nuts. Or if it's like Steelers Ravens, I probably never miss that game.
I watched a couple Ravens games for the first time last year, just because I was invested in what was going on, all because of this guy.
I will say, fantasy definitely makes you watch way more football than your wife wants you to. But yeah, no, I'm jealous, Ryan. Being able to just say, yeah, I'm a player guy. I just follow my fantasy team. I love the Seahawks, but I almost wish I could just say, I'm a player guy. But let me guess.
It's the same for hockey, though. Like if I could go the other way around and I had an NFL team, for example, and hockey, I was just, a whoever guy. I mean, there's a ton of players to look at. So, yeah, then I could go watch a random Minnesota Wild game and watch Keprasov or go watch Ovi or whoever, right? Like whoever happens to be kind of, the hot ticket at that point. But it isn't that way. I grew up as a Canucks fan, whereas the NFL, like I didn't love football for a long, long time. And then I kind of learned it. And that's when I really got to love the game. I just didn't have a team that really stuck with me. So, and that's it. I mean, I wish I had a little bit more because probably own a ton more stuff. But I think I've got a soft spot in my heart for the Titans, and knowing that there were some pretty awesome times that came with that team as well. So,
let me guess. You chose the Chargers at first because of Doug Flutie.
No, I said Tomlinson. You weren't listening.
Well.
Basically the same.
Same. Yeah.
College quarterback, amazing running back, close enough. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are now joining us. This is a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll have some cool crossover stuff. Before we end,
I still have to know how they think the Browns are going to do.
No one cares.
The Browns are going to lose a minimum of 2 games.
A minimum. Okay, that's
both them to the Ravens. I thought Ted was going to pick up on that maybe a little quicker, but
2 games in their own division.
We can lose 2 games where you're usually like, we're only going to win 2 games over here. So
yeah, it's still very confusing to me. This is all uncharted territory.
And
hey,
Brown,
you know what? Save it for a football podcast. The Jets just swept the Oilers. We're gonna finish off with some hockey tack. We're not gonna do dudes and guys. We finished off last year. Dudes and guys is on a little bit of a hiatus because until the Canucks do some awesome things as well as some really bad things in the next little while, we're gonna give them a little bit of a summer break. The Jets just swept the Oilers. The Leafs are on the brink of eliminating the Canadiens. The Penguins just lost. They're out. The Bruins won. Like the Knights apparently decided they didn't want to win in 6 games, so they're going to 7 games again. What is going on with these playoffs, and why is it absolutely amazing? Steve, give me your take, bud.
I'm obviously not a Bruins fan, so a little annoyed that they got through. Something about the Islanders just bothers me, and I can't even put it into words. There's no rationale for it. So thinking about that series makes me want to throw up just a little bit. The Knights, they're like, are the Wild playing the same game plan the Canucks were? They're like, hey, those guys almost beat them by only shooting 10 shots a game. And
the old rope-a-dope.
They're getting Demco'd.
It's kind of funny. And obviously our good buddy Kyle decided to jump from Canucks onto the Knights bandwagon as soon as they came out. So anytime the Knights lose and I can, say suck it to Kyle, I hope he's watching and listening right now. Suck it, Kyle. I hope they lose in 7.
Well, they're going to 7 for sure. Good for him too. To make that jump and rightfully so. He has every reason to. This team has been in shambles for many years, but to be able to make that and kind of go wholehearted, and knowing Kyle, like he's bought in, like dude's this isn't just like a passing fad. You know, he'll be
invested.
His Canucks fandom is still there, but he's fully okay with.
He would never admit it though.
No, but he's okay with it being, like, what, it's buried, but I know where I buried it. It's in the yard, 4 feet deep. It's like that dog, right? Like, my favorite bone is right over here, and when I need it, I'm gonna go back and get it. But for now, I really like all these toys that I've got.
It's fermenting, but when it's ready, I'll come get it.
Exactly. I think I left another bone there too.
But if the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, let's say before the Knights, who knows what's going to happen over the next however many years. If Kyle goes back and claims the Canucks as his own, he can fuck right off of that take.
And this is for all of us who know Kyle, that he's going to do that just because. And
it'll be to piss everybody off too. Yeah,
for sure.
Funny.
Yeah,
bite cheer.
I hope you're watching and listening, Kyle, because
I'm certain he's not.
I mean that.
He'll find out about it tomorrow in the newspaper.
I'm just excited, the guys, that I can
calls out.
I get to say bad words on this show, and I'm pretty excited. Steve edited out my bad words from last episode.
Oh, I got one edited out on your guys' episode. You're tonight's JT Miller, actually. So congratulations. That's usually me.
Way to go, friend.
Yeah.
So let's do a quick round table. Who's your Stanley Cup final? Who do you have winning it? Steve, who you got?
I actually, and there's a few people that know that I did this. I picked the Leafs to win at the very start of the year, so I'm going to see that one all the way through. But as Ted knows, my wife is a bit of an Avs fan, and so for her sake, I hope they win. And they're so exciting to watch. Like, it's kind of fun in like my darkest hour. I can always like turn on a game for her, and I'm like, man, this is everything I wanted to watch in hockey. So
this has a lot of parallels here, but I'm going to leave those alone.
Supportive husband, but I get to watch good hockey, and I get to forget about like my bad hockey that I watch. It's a win-win.
Watching Colorado is a lot of fun. There's too much fun talent on that team. You're like, oh, I like him. Well, I like him too. Oh, he's good. Oh,
same place.
He's another good. I like how this lineup is. Oh, I wish I had this lineup. Like, what do you mean Makar's not as good as Quinn Hughes? He is. He's better. He also won a trophy. Chris, who do you got as your final? Who do you have your final, and who do you have winning?
But before I came on the podcast, my wife was like, "What are you guys talking about?" I'm like, "Hockey." And she's like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I haven't watched a lot of hockey, especially in the last 2 months. I kind of lost interest once the Canucks got COVID. But give me Avalanche, Lightning, Stanley Cup final, and Avalanche to win."
Okay. So McKinnon and Makar and Landy. I mean, it would be a lot of fun. And their new blue, what kind of blue is that, Steve?
I hate the blue helmets. I hate the blue pants. It's terrible.
I love it.
It's awful.
It's awful. It's good. You're wrong.
Yeah.
And they'll wear what if they wore the Nordiques reverse retros in the final?
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't, but what?
The league wouldn't allow it, but that would be dope.
You know what, though? The Canucks got to wear their stick jerseys in 2007, remember? They brought those as their homes. They made an alteration for that. There is precedence.
There you go.
There is precedence. And I'm pretty sure there is another team that's worn their reverse retros in the playoffs. I can't remember who. I'm pretty sure, though. Anyway, Ted, who's your combo to make it and win?
For the second year in a row, I'm going to take Carolina getting there. And I'm also going to take Colorado. And I'm going to take Carolina winning in 7.
Really?
Yeah, but honestly, I could flip a coin. I'm really good with it.
You know that we don't. Really?
I know nothing, but I think the two coolest teams right now are Colorado and Carolina. So,
okay, I like that. So I have an interesting take on this. I was on the Playoff Prick show last night on Blundell, and they asked our buddy Brent, he goes, Ryan, what would be like your dream situation for this playoffs? And
you said Vancouver Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. So they find a way to get them in, and no, that's not what I said. What I did say was, because my sick brain just went to a really, really dark place, I said the Leafs and the Bruins make the Stanley Cup final. And because I am a sick individual, the Bruins find a way around game 4, game 5 to do something nasty. Someone gets hurt, a la like 2011 happened. It basically, turns this entire country in just to an absolute, chaos convention. And somehow the Bruins beat the Leafs, I don't care, 6 or 7, so that the Canucks will still be able to win a Stanley Cup before the Leafs do. And you know why? Because I want to see the world burn. That's the only reason.
The only thing that could be worse than that is if Toronto won.
That would be that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. I'm taking like an evil that still haunts me. We all worked it. We all remember.
Nope. I wasn't there.
It's gone. She gone.
I wasn't there in 2011. Thank God. I remember texting you guys after the 2011 final and being like, I'm so sorry. I'm glad I'm not there, but I am so sorry.
And that's why I just want to see, like, it is. Was wanting to see, because the Bruins, let's just take it as a hockey comment for now. The Bruins are a very good hockey team.
Yeah.
If we just take it at talent level, they're a team that can do some nasty things on the scoreboard. I would love to see them for Toronto to get that feeling. I'll give you in a second. For Toronto to have that feeling, to know they're that close, and where they can finally get to the point. We told you, Canada. We told you this is finally the team, and to absolutely be crushed. They step on their necks. I want to see that happen.
It's a super disgusting take, and I totally get where you're coming from, and I would be okay with seeing somebody else going through a similar amount of pain. But I mean, maybe if we're thinking outside the box here, maybe Vancouver should think about, hiring a few of those Boston front office guys away and seeing if they can help out in Vancouver. It might happen. They might be able to do something with that.
They have to win first for that to happen. And then they start peeling away. I bet Cam Neely needs a change of scenery. Yeah. How ironic.
Who's the pro scout in Boston? Maybe he could come GM.
Oh. Hey, Sweeney.
Sorry.
At least they'll draft well then, right?
Yeah, as long as they can get some guys with some truculence, we'll be good.
Why isn't and we talked about Cole Lind?
Well, the way his season finished, I don't think too many people are going to be talking about Cole Lind.
But isn't Cole Lind better than Tanner Pearson, Ryan?
I did have that take, didn't I? You got me. All right, boys. This has been a lot of fun. We are joined this week with Chris and Steve from the Ballhawks podcast, new members of the Dean Blundell Network. I'm sure they're going to find a way to get on with some of the other guys and have their own playoff show. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely awesome. You're going to be that much more time away from your families, which that's how it goes when you're climbing that ladder, I guess, right?
Ted,
this.
Ted calls me. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" I'm like, "No, I'm just watching a show with my wife. Doing a podcast tonight." And I'm like, I look at my wife. I'm like, I just smile. She goes, "I'm not going to like this, am I?" And I'm like,
but then she brought you a beer. So
I'm like, cool. yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah.
There you go. See, you got to.
Here we are.
Final words, boys. Chris, you're still talking, so I'll let you finish.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention the one thing I forgot to mention earlier when you gave us a chance to plug ourselves. Follow us on Twitter at ballhawks_pod. I missed that. Steve always forgets to mention Twitter, and it was me this week. So
at least you don't have a the or a Ballhawks the.
Maybe not assistant 2 next week.
There you go. Steve, final words.
Thanks for having us on. This is my first live stream appearance. This was fun. Good to see how it all works and just get to chat with you guys again. I think I'm maybe one of only a handful of reoccurring guests. I don't know if I mentioned that before.
We were desperate, so we just took anybody this week.
Hey, look, desperation wins sometimes.
It does. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you're right. Absolutely. Ted, you're at the office. Are you going to still grab yourself a coffee before you go home?
Probably not.
No?
No.
I found a new coffee place last week. I know you're interested. Downtown. It's a half blind coffee bean. Right out of Mission. It's good.
So is it downtown or is it a Mission?
It's like in Mission. Did I say downtown? It's like the downtown part of Mission.
Yeah, it's right in just in Surrey next to Port
It's-
Coquitlam.
Exactly. It's kind of between Pitt Meadows and Hope. So it's close enough.
Good man. We'll have to go now that we can hang out a little bit together.
This is something we can thank DBH and her entourage, that Horgan guy and Adrian Dix. We might even play baseball this year. We might.
Yeah. You might even pick Dr. Bonnie Henry in the football pool instead of Derrick Henry.
Fuck Derrick Henry.
There's an open wound there.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're past the hour, so we're gonna shut her down here for the evening. Boys, thanks so much for coming by. Congratulations on your newfound success. Steve, keep on teaching. Make sure you raise a better generation than us. Chris, let us know when you're going to shave that really creepy beard. And Ted, always good to see you. I'm Ryan from the PPM Podcast. This is episode 92. We don't have a name for it yet. We'll figure it out. On behalf of all of us, this has been a great time on Hollywood Squares. Peace out.